Hello, 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 stamping friends. Thank you for joining me today. I am Caron Bailey, your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm here today with you to present with the Stampin' Ladies of Stampin' Up. You guys, we are a group of demonstrators that we actually, this is my first time scrapping with them or hopping with them. And so I would love for you to take a moment and oops, sorry, you guys. And join the Stampin' Ladies as we present to you our mini catalog show off. Joining me today on this hop, we have Alicia, Martinette, Tiffany, Lori, and Tamika, and we are all going live with you today. Starting at 9 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. As always, you guys, I like to go ahead and share with you what we've got going on in Stampin' Up. So let me share with you what we've got going on this month as far as promotions are concerned. Of course, we have our paper pumpkin kit. You do have plenty of time up until the 11th of next month I'm sorry, the 10th of next month to sign up for the current paper pumpkin, which is called You Share Yuletide Celebrations, I believe is the name of it that it's called. And then we have the special release of our oh, what happened here? Sorry, guys. All right, we have the special release of our designer series papers. These are available, will be available in the online exclusives. Unfortunately, you guys, almost all of our designer series papers from the mini and the online exclusive, I mean, you guys loved our papers so much that they are out of stock. The projected estimated due in is like the first week of October. So you guys, if you had been looking and there is one or two of the papers that you are so in love with, be ready. Keep looking at the online exclusives to see when they're available. If you have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator so that I can keep you informed of what's going on as far as when inventory is out or coming back in stock. All right, the next thing we have for you is our World Card Making Day event that's coming up on October 7th. It is a completely free event. You have up until the 7th to register for the event. There are a couple of stamp sets that are going to be featured as part of the card making kit or for the kits. One of them is the Circle Sayings, one of them is the Earth and Elegance, and the other is the Heartfelt Hexagon set. You guys, if I remember correctly, Earth and Elegance as a bundle is no longer is not available as a bundle. People have just been snatching it up for in preparation for the World Card Making Day event. As always, you guys, if there's something that you see that you like that I do demonstrate with you, shop with me on my in my online store. And use the month's host code to be eligible to win, to get a prize with a qualified purchase in my online store. All right, you guys, with that, let's just jump right in and get started. So as I said, I am Caron. I am your ATX Stampin' Lady. And you guys, I am featuring in my card for what I'm debuting is the Garden Walk Suite Collection. Okay, and I've been playing with this collection for a little bit, so it should not be new to you when I'm creating with these this set. But for the Garden Walk collection, as you can see, it's the Modern Garden stamp set. It comes with a coordinating punch, which we shared. There is some ribbon. This is, I think this is the ribbon for it. Comes with some embellishments. These are the blooming pearls, and of course the designer series paper. I am mainly focusing today on designer series paper, and you guys have played with me before and you know that I have been just having so much fun with the stack, slice, and shuffle technique that's what I'm going to share with you today in my card, for my cards. So today we're going to make 4 cards using the Modern Garden the Garden Walk Suite collection. So let me share with you what you're going to need. And you're going to say, oh my God, that's a lot. But hopefully we can create 4 cards in this period of time, right? So here's what we're going to need to create today's cards. We're going to need 4 pieces of designer series paper. And just as a tip, and I'll share with you when we get into the cutting. So the designer series paper I'm going to use, you guys, and I'm going to share with you. These are from the designer, the card pack, the coordinating card pack. But I decided that I wanted to have a little bit of texture in my card. So I went ahead and I embossed a piece of basic white with I think it's embossed brick is what it's called. I think that's what it's called. And I'm going to show with you what I'm going to do with that. So we're going to need 4 pieces of coordinating cardstock or designer paper that is 3 3/4 by 5. We're going to need some basic white cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5. You guys, you can avoid if you're not challenged by aligning issues like I am, you can skip this step. This is optional. Okay? But this is what I'm going to use to make sure that my pieces are aligned properly. So you need 4 pieces of that. You're going to need 4 pieces of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. This is going to be for the inside of our card base because we are using a darker base. We are using, I'm using a mat that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then I have 2 pieces that's 4 1/4 by 11. Now, I'm ready to have some fun. Let's put this aside for a second. So I went ahead and this is what our layout, this is what our cuts are going to be when we stack and shuffle. Okay. So I create a template, and you guys, the key to when you create your template is however many cuts you're going to have is how many pieces of designer paper you should have. Okay. So if I want to do 5 cuts or 5 different shapes, then that means I should have 5 different prints, either designer series paper, whether it's embossed paper, whatever it is. So on this one, I'm just going to do 4 different cuts, and you see that I have them numbered, right? So this will be my first cut, this will be my second cut, and this will be the third cut, which will give me parts 3 and parts 4. And I created a second one just in case we need it for whatever reason, okay? So here's our template, and I'm going to bring out this embossed piece because I want to add a little color. I don't want it to stay white, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my wild wheat because that's going to be my accent color. And I'm going to grab one of my blending brushes, and all I'm going to do with this blending brush is I'm going to add some color. Oh gosh, I did not bring scrap paper out here. And I'm just going to lightly go over this so I can add some color to my cardstock, to my basic white piece. I just don't want it to be white. I want it to have some of the color. Okay. And that's a trick to yourself. So if you don't have if you don't have wild wheat cardstock in your inventory and you have the inks, guys, you can create your own paper. Now, if you wanted it to be darker, of course, then you add more ink. I don't want it to be too dark. I just want it to have a hint of the color. Like so. There we go. Now my panel is complete. So what I'm going to do now is the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer should be able to cut through 4 pieces of cardstock, right? Well, it's going to be 5 because we've got to line up. But just in case we can't, that's why I created a second. So if I needed to do 2 cuts, then I have the template that I could do what I needed to do with that, okay? So let's bring our trimmer in. Let's put that away. So we're going to bring in our trimmer. And we're just going to make sure that we line everything up in place. Okay. Should grab, I had some paper clips around here somewhere. Let me see if I can find some paper clips. Now you should use I'm using the paper clips just because I want to keep things, make sure that I keep things stacked. So I'm going to make sure and then I'm just going to line this up. Now, the good thing about your track is you know where your track is. I need to clean my track out. Okay. All right, so now that I have that, I'm just going to line my first cut. Again, making sure that my paper stays stacked. And I'm going to line up my lines in the track. And I don't want to start my cutting off the paper. I want to keep everything on paper. And make sure I keep even pressure as I go up. And as I come down. And then I want to go back and forth a couple times with pressure, making sure that I've cut through. Okay. If you didn't get through all of the cuts, you can put this back in line because you know where it is and cut it again. That's the beauty of the template. Okay. I don't know why it's not cutting. All right, so what I'm going to end up doing now to make sure that I keep this secure and the cuts where it needs to be, so I'm going to just move my paper clip to make sure that stays in place. Okay. Then I'm going to put this back in the track like so. Line it up. All right. So my trimmer blade seemed to have fallen out. So give me one moment. Let me go grab it. me grab that. All right, so for whatever reason, I'm not sure why my trimmer is not cutting straight. Not straight, but because it is cutting straight, it's just not cutting through all of my cardstock. So if it doesn't cut straight through this time, I am going to line it up. Everything is giving me issues today. I know, right? All right. Let's have a go with this again. Okay. Let's have a go with this again. When I practiced this, I did not have this much of a challenge, so I'm not quite sure why I'm being challenged today. And who knows, maybe because I did it so often, I dulled my blade and I didn't realize that I have. So all right. So the other thing, the other option that you have is that this is kind of cutting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, because we know where it needs to be cut, and I'm going to trim it right with my snips. Okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat, they say. And I just shared with you 2 ways to make this card work. Okay, so now we're going to do the next cut. Make sure we put all of that in the track. Line it up, make sure it's stacked. Okay. Hopefully we've got quite a bit of the cardstock cut. Almost went through it all, almost. And because we did not, I'm just going to go right straight in with the snips. Okay. And the reason I numbered them is in our process when we're putting them back together, we just need to be able, the order and where they are, that's what the purpose is of numbering them. So you know which is which. And it just helps for organization purpose, okay? And then the last cut. I'm glad I didn't do more than 4 cuts. All right, so we're gonna line this puppy up in here. And after this, I think I'm gonna need to change my blades. Yeah, get them sharp. All right, that's in. I might need a new trimmer too. Maybe it's just the blade, I'm not sure. Anyway, so we're gonna make our last cut here. Making sure everything is lined up. Okay. Perfect. All right, so now we have all of our parts and our pieces already cut. This is the fun part. We are going to create our shuffle. All right, let's put this away for now. Our trimmer. All right, so we've got section number 1. We know how that's going to fit. We've got section number 2. That's not right. That's like that. We have section number 3. And the important thing about these is I wrote the numbers the way they're supposed to sit. So that's how our shuffle would be. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to shuffle them. So with number 1, we're not going to shuffle. We're going to do any shuffle with 1. On number 2, we're going to do 1 shuffle. On number 2, we're going to do 2 shuffles, not including that one, of course. 1, 2, and on the 4th one, we're going to shuffle 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so here's what we should have on our pieces of cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 4. And I'm just going to lay them all down the pieces. That way we know what needs to go where, okay? 1, and 2, okay? So on this first piece, we're going to have this, 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 and this. So this is what our panels are going to look like in various degrees, okay? So I think I'm just gonna, I was gonna do assembly line, but I'm just gonna do them as I go. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, the important thing about the prints that you have, you guys, is you can use any prints. If you like them to be coordinated, of course they should be coordinated. I tend to stick with the same paper pack if I'm using all designer paper. As you can see from this one, I decided to incorporate a little bit of the embossing by using the embossing folder to create one of my panels. If I wanted to, I could have used and I may do another one where I just make my own designer series paper, do a little stamp on tone on tone stamping on some cardstock to create another panel. Does not have to be designer series paper. It is the perfect way, however, to show off the prints in some designer series paper. And by that I just mean, for example, all of the new designer series papers that came out. If you are a demonstrator and you wanted a quick way to share what all of the prints looked like, you could do some stack and shuffles to create and showcase all of the cards, all of the papers. Okay. And last. So all of our papers, all of our cards are going to have the same paper panel, but they're definitely going to be in different order. But I'm also going to not just use a regular 8.5 regular A2 card front. That's the cut on them, but two of them I'm going to be regular. One that's going to be horizontal, one's going to be portrait, one's going to be landscape. And then I'm going to do a gatefold card. I'm going to do a gatefold. I'm going to do a easel card. So even though all of the panels are being created the same, you can use different bases and different things with them. They don't always just have to be regular cards, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, that's number 2. And we know this one's going next. Over here. Do you have a preference for trimmer type? I tell you, I prefer guillotine trimmers. I really do. I just find that for the most part they don't tend to give me a lot of issues as a general rule. But not all trimmers are created equal. So once you find one that you like, you know, stick with it. As a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'm never going to tell you you have to always, I will encourage you to buy Stampin' Up products. Don't get me wrong on that, you guys. I do believe in Stampin' Up. I love their products. However, if you, as a crafter, if you have a preference for something, go ahead and stick with that, you know. I love liquid glue. Absolutely love it. And I buy the Barely Art glue. I love Tombow, but I will buy the Barely Arts because it's economical for me. And in this day of inflation, you know, I have to watch and monitor and make sure that my craft budget goes a very long way, you know. So if nothing else from Stampin' Up, I would tell you to definitely get our designer series paper. I love the fact that our inks coordinate with our paper. They coordinate with our markers. They coordinate with everything. So if you buy nothing else, I would tell you to invest in our inks and our papers, because they are, I mean, they're up. What is going on with did I cut myself? Y'all, I cut myself somehow and I didn't even notice that. All right, so I'm gonna make these cards, but I'm probably not gonna send them. When did that happen? Wow. Give me 1 minute here. I don't even recall touching anything that would cause me to cut myself, but that I did, my friends. Wait a minute. That is very interesting. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know how I got that ink or the ink on my fingers. Look at that. I haven't touched any ink yet during my presentation so far, so I'm like not sure how that happened. And I know I used the wild wheat, so if I had wild wheat color on my hands, then I would say patience, but I don't even have that. Okay. And we've got one more to finish. All right, so when I'm finished, I'm going to set 2 of the panels aside because 2 of the panels I'm going to use for my fancy fold pieces. And so I want to keep them aside, and then I'm going to start with just making my regular cards for you. And then we'll work on our fancy fold cards. How does that sound? Perfect. Tip that I'm going to give you for when I stack and I cut, again, you can do whatever you want, is I try to make sure as much as possible I have some part of my cuts that's going to align directly with a straight edge. That way I can always line them up according to a straight edge, if that makes sense to you. All right, so now we have all of our card fronts panels made. We're just going to pick 2 of them randomly. And again, I'm going to leave this one right in the frame for you. That way you can see the template that we're working on. All right, so I'm just going to shuffle one from the back and one from the front for my fancy folds. And now I'm just going to do these for my regular card fronts. All right. So what I did was I cut these at 4 by 5 1/4, just a regular mat on each of them. They seem a little different here. It's 3 3/4 by 4, 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm gonna trim this off just a little bit. 3 3/4 by 5. All right. Oh, I think I shortcut this one. Yes, I did. I'm going to need it to cut that again. I'm going to put this one aside. I need to cut it a little bit bigger than the 5. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm making this 3 7/8 by 5 and a 5 1/8. Okay, that's one. And we'll do the same to the other. 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I just trimmed it down because the 1/4 inch border was a little bit too big for what I wanted to do. You can leave it at 5 1/4 if that's what you wanted to do, but I just wanted a 1/8 inch border. Okay. I saw a little bit of a white edge, and so I just wanted to make sure that I cleaned it up. So I'm just trimming off just a little bit. Okay, just a bit. Make sure I don't have any white, and I don't, so that's good to go. All right, so let's get to getting these cards done. And again, liquid glue is my friend, my best friend in card making, actually. And then we're just going to line this up. Okay, that's one. And then we're going to do the other. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon. Okay. Okay. I'm going to cheat a little bit on my ribbon. I am going to do a bow, but I want to make sure where my sentiment placement is, but I'm not quite sure yet when I'm going to do that. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of adhesive here, a little bit of adhesive there, and we're going to cover this up like so. and like so. Okay, I'm gonna snip this off. Oh boy. My glue scissors to cut ribbon didn't work so well. All right, so we got a piece of ribbon on there. Add a little bit of ribbon on here as well. You can vary your positioning of your ribbon, how it looks, how it, you know, you could even change the ribbon if you wanted to. We're always going to try to add our ribbon someplace where there's a join to kind of neaten that up just a little bit, okay? Always, that's the rule of thumb. Okay, so we've got those two down. So now I'm gonna need, just grab one of our 8.5 by 11s, 8.5 by 5.5, our card front. It's gonna sit right on here just like this, but we know that it has to be popped up because we haven't done any dimensionals yet, right? And it would not be a Caron card if there was none of that, right? Perfect. And gonna add a little piece to the bottom. Just like so. Okay, so once we're ready, let's go ahead. I'm looking for my bone folder. It's around here somewhere. It's amazing to me how easily I misplace my things. Oops. Then we're just gonna add this to our card front. This one is finished except for our sentiment, which we haven't done yet. Then we're gonna do the same, only we're gonna add this to one of the panels that's 4¼ by 11. So we'll have a horizontal fold and a portrait and a landscape. Okay. You can change the direction of where your ribbon is. Okay. All kinds of things you can do. I use all of my foam, my adhesive foam sheets. Cut that part off. Add this guy down. Whoops, we should have trimmed him a little bit. That's why we have our gluey scissors, right? That way if we have to cut glue, it's already done. It's designated just for that purpose. And we're not wasting anything, so we're going to put that right on there. Alrighty. Make sure that it's opening in the right direction. And then we've got this right here. So our second card is done. Okay. Now, I'm going to stamp all of the same sentiments. So we have our gatefold. We're going to do our easel card, our easel fold. Right? And so for an easel fold, this is a 4 1/4 by 11 panel. And I'm scoring it on the 5 1/2. And again, I'm scoring it on the 2 3/4. Yes, 2 3/4 is where it's scored. So I'm going to burnish those folds. Make sure this is even. Okay. I'm going to grab one of our card fronts. Okay. And this one we can leave on the 4 by 5 1/4 panel. I'm missing a panel somewhere. What happened to my other 4 by, oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. Add my liquid adhesive and my ribbon. I'm going to add this to our 4 by 5 1/4 panel of wild wheat. Okay. And then I'm going to add my ribbon. Oops. And then all I'm going to do is add just like so, and just like so. Make sure it's even. I know I keep bringing it because it's right next to my hands. That's why I keep using it. All right, so now we're going to just add this to our panel. Oh no, it's already to the panel. And then I'm just going to add adhesive. And I'm only going to add it about like So, because we know there's about 1/4 of an inch on each side, right? And so when this lays down, that's how that'll be. But you have the makings of an easel fold card. Okay? So that's what we're going to do with that one. All right, so this one is going to be a gatefold card. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And so let's burnish those folds. And then I also scored it at the 2 1/8. Okay. So this is 2 1/8, and this is 2 1/8. So we need to cut this to 2 inches by 2 inches by 5 1/4. This is already cut here, right? So 2 inches. And then this will be, let's cut this. So it's 1 7/8, I think. 3 3/4, 1 1/4. So 2 1/2. No, that's not right. Now I gotta do some math here, y'all. I didn't tell myself I had to do some math. So let's measure this. This is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. Okay. So let's trim this down. It's already that. Trim this down to 5 1/4. Okay. And then we're just gonna adhere this down. Onto our panel. Like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this just like this to create our fold. But we're going to add our ribbon. So I did it this way because I wanted to share with you that you don't just have to create regular panels. You can create those panels and do whatever you wanted to with them, such as like I just did, make a fancy fold out of it. Once you have the panels made, you treat it just like any other designer series paper that you're going to use for a card front, and use it however you're going to see, however you see fit in your design process, okay? Okay, so now we're just going to make sure we cover that part up. That goes like that. And this goes like this. And seal them down. Perfect. As I reach for my as I reach for my glue scissors again, it's just handy, y'all. That's the only reason why I'm continuing to use it. And now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make sure that this side, we de-stickify that side a little bit. And then what I am going to do wasn't part of the plan, but it's what I'm going to do. So we need to add adhesive about right here. Okay. Lay this down. We got our border. Okay. And now I'm just going to adhere a little piece of designer series paper. Okay. Then I'm just going to snip this off. And again, I only did that because when I added the ribbon, because on the gatefold, it was kind of showing through on the back, and I didn't want that as far as my design element is concerned. So I just created another little thing. So we have that. We open it, and when you open the back, you have a nice little surprise right there as well. All right, so now let's get the inside of our cards done. And that's where we have our 4 by 4 1/4. And we're probably going to use the same things that way. And all I want to do on this one enjoy your day is what this one says. Gonna condition my stamp because I haven't used it before. Here's our first one. Enjoy your special day. That's all I'm stamping. It's the inside of the card. That's 2. Just giving them a minute to dry. That's 3. And that's 4. Okay. Now we can add these to the insides of our cards. We got a couple more things to do. Now this normally, the longest part of this is the stack, is the slicing and then putting the pieces together. All right, so this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to cut a little strip here at 4. Add that to the inside of the card as well. Okay, so this one's almost done. Then we have the inside of card number 2. This one we're going to need to do a little bit more, right? Because we need to have that cute little stopper on the inside. Put this down. Okay. Perfect, that's 2. We got our last 2 to add our sentiment card to. All right, so the next thing we're going to end up having to do is we're going to punch out our sentiment on the modern or oval, which is the coordinating, and I call it the coordinating punch for this set, but even though they bundled it together, you can definitely buy it as a separate item if you don't particularly care for the stamp set itself. All right, so here we go. Let's grab this. And we're going to grab some cardstock and we're going to punch 4 basic white ovals so we can get our sentiment done. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here is 4. Perfect. And now, again, we're going to use the same sentiment. Not the same one, but and I always need birthday cards, so I'm going to use the birthday sentiment from that set. And as you can see, it says, "It's your birthday. Enjoy your special day." Okay, let's put this back in here. All right. So how about that, you guys? We will have made 4 cards in about an hour. I think we've been live for about an hour. Two more to stamp. So again, in this type of stamp stack, because I'm wanting the paper to be the focal image. I don't add a whole bunch of embellishments because I don't want to detract from the paper. For me personally, when I do a stack, slice, and shuffle project, I'm looking to create cards really quickly, beautiful cards, but really quickly. So you could definitely, let me see if this will work. I had an idea that I wanted to do a little spritzing to age this a little bit, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't think it'll come out the way I want it to. So I won't do that. Okay. I am looking for okay, so let's prop these up with some dimensionals here. And again, I'm keeping them relatively simple. Okay, but before I put this on here, I decided gonna grab the Wild Wheat Stampin' Right marker. Just gonna age the edge a little bit. It'll look just like a hint of a matte layer, just a hint. If you had a straighter hand than I did, you could actually color on the top of it, bring it over just a little bit more so that you can see. Okay. I wasn't sure I'd be able to join you guys tonight and for the, what's going on here? To do my presentation for you guys. It's just a lot has been happening in my life this week. On Monday, and on Monday, came home from work and my dog Zoe had passed. She wasn't sick, she wasn't ill, as far as I was aware. You know, she said goodbye to me that morning, like she usually does, and somehow when I came home, she was gone. So I've been dealing with that. I had her cremated, and her cremains, they just brought it back for me today. So I've been dealing with a lot. Yes, but I needed to be in my craft room just to take my mind off of things just a little bit. You know, as I said, stamping is my happy place. That's one of the reasons why I come here. Yes, I would love to grow my Stampin' Up team. Yes, I would love my business to flourish. Yes, I would love you to shop with me. But you guys, when I craft, when I come into my craft room, it is definitely my happy place. I get to forget about my troubles, my problems, whatever it is that's happening negatively, that I call it. Oh, see, that's why I don't do it that way. I get to escape in my craft room. And so that's one of the reasons why I had to come on today, is I needed to be able to escape for a little bit. Everything that's been happening to me this week. And there was a lot. You know, this is our craft time, so I'm not trying to, you know, add a lot of downing or, you know, negative things here. So gonna keep it a little bit light. Yeah, I just had my dimensionals. There they go. But she's home now. They brought her home for me. She's got the cutest little urn. And just thinking about her makes me sad right now, but thinking about the life that we had. I had her for 12 or for 14 years. And you know, she was a trooper, my little one. And now me and her sister, Maxie, we just gotta try to figure out what life without her looks like. You know, she was a toy long-haired Chihuahua, and let me tell you, that little girl had some gumption to her. She did. She just wasn't about that. She was like, mm-mm. She thought she was the boss of the house. She was definitely the boss of her sister. She was definitely the boss of Maxie. And she was so tiny, so you know, she got a lot of my attention because she was so tiny. And when I say tiny, I just mean she was a toy long-haired Chihuahua, so she was small. And she wanted to do everything, but her, you know, Chihuahua's legs are so skinny anyway, but because she was a toy, she was, hers I thought were extra short, or extra thin, if that makes any sense. And I just wouldn't let her jump up and down. If she needed to be up on something, I would pick her up. I would put her there. I saw visions of her jumping down and her breaking her legs every single time. I knew she probably wouldn't. So she got spoiled a little bit like that from me, because I just didn't want to see her hurt at all like that. Anyway, she's in a happier place. That's what I'm telling myself. She's up there with her sister Kalia and her brother Onyx. My dog that passed previously. And, you know, they're just having fun together again. Which is always fun. They're like, okay, Maxie. Well, I shouldn't say that, because I'm not ready for her to go either. Okay. So we have that, and then the last one we have is our, so what we're going to do is we're definitely going to put this one on here. And I'm really not getting fancy with my sentiment. I really am not. I could, but I chose not to. I'm trying to keep the card as simple as possible. Because I do want to focus on the paper, not so much any of the other elements around it. Just the paper is what I want to focus on. I think I haven't drank any water at all today. Well, guys, let me say thank you to my new subscribers. I want to thank you for subscribing to my channel. I welcome you to share, like, and invite your other friends to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would love to have you visit with me. I tend to go live at least once a week on Thursdays, sometimes more than that, but I guarantee you that I will go live at least once a week. Excuse me. All right, so look, what are we gonna do here? So I think what I want to do, ooh, that might be a good idea. Because I'm wanting to keep it fairly simple, that's exactly what I am gonna do. So, just very simple. I'm gonna put a piece of designer series paper, one of the prints that I've already used in the card. And I'm going to use it as a design element, but also as my stop. Yeah. Let me show you what I mean. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper, and I'm just going to add it just above the sentiment. All right. Like that. And then this is going to be just like this. And we have our easel card. How simple was that, y'all? So again, you guys, thanks for, look at what we did. We created 4 cards using our template for our stack, slice, and shuffle technique card. And here we have, with those panels that we created an easel card. Okay. We created a gatefold card. Okay. We created 2 standard A2 cards, one in a book fold, portrait style, and one landscape. So, thank you guys again for joining me. If you do need to, if you would love to, I would love to have you join me regularly on my channel, where we create, we have fun, we learn new things. I share tips, techniques with you. So I would love to have you join me regularly on Thursdays. I'm also in a challenge to grow my YouTube channel. You guys, I would love, what is today? Today is the 22nd of, 23rd. Ooh, I missed a day. The 23rd of August. Wait, I've been saying 22 all day. Huh, 22, 20, the 23rd of September. And I would love to grow my YouTube channel, and my goal is to hit 300 subscribers by the end of the month. And we've got 7 days to do it. So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and invite your friends to share, to join my channel, and to subscribe. You guys, when you share my videos, come back and do #share. That way I'll know you share, and just I will always try to send you a little gift as a thank you for sharing my YouTube channel. So on that note, you guys, again, thank you for stopping by as we created with the Garden Walk Suite Collection 4 cards with our stack, slice, and shuffle technique. On that note, you guys have a great evening and happy stamping.